In this video we're going to make it so that we only draw our tracks when we're drifting. I've already added one line of code here in the yellow that gets whether I'm drifting or not. What it's doing is it's comparing two directions to each other. It's comparing the direction of my speed, which is the linear velocity, and the direction I'm facing, which is my global basis, and it's saying whether or not they're completely the same or completely different. If my speed's the same direction as my car, that means I'm not drifting, and if my speed's a completely different direction to the car, then it means I am drifting. This maths is something that you probably haven't seen before, but really it just ends up giving us a number between 0 and 1 that tells us if we are drifting or not drifting. So let's check how that works for now by printing drift. As I play my game, you should see a number very close to 0 printing, and if I turn one way, it's a positive number. If I turn the other way, it's a negative number. And if I'm drifting, then it goes up to about 0.2 or 0.3. So I only want to display this code if I'm drifting, and I do want it to be whether it's a positive 0.2 or a negative 0.2. So I'm also going to write abs for absolute value around that drift line. And now I have a number where if I know that number's bigger than about 0.2, that means I'm drifting. So I'm going to get both of these two blocks of code that are drawing my tyre tracks, and above them I'm going to write if drift is more than 0.2. Then I'm going to grab both those lines of code and indent them so that I'm only drawing tyre tracks if my drift is above 0.2. If you decide you want more tyre tracks than that, then you can change the number from 0.2 to a smaller number, and if you want fewer tyre tracks than that, then you can change the number from 0.2 to a bigger number. The other thing we can do when we're drifting is we can add a skid sound. I've got this skid sound here, skid.ogg, from the Kenny Starter Kit Racing that's just recently come out, and I'm going to drag that skid.ogg file into my car assets. Then I'm going to go to my car and add a second audio stream player to it. Audio stream player. And so I don't confuse it with the last audio stream player, I'm going to rename this one to skid sound. Then I'm going to make sure that I add the skid sound to the skid sound and drag skid.ogg into the audio stream player stream so that that horrible nightmare of a sound will play when I'm skidding. Save my car scene, go back to the script and get a reference to the skid sound by dragging it in here, holding down Control, and now I can play my skid sound if I'm drifting by writing skid sound dot play. I'll also want to remember to turn off the skid sound when I stop drifting. So underneath all of this code I'll have an else block that does skid sound dot stop. That will turn off the skid sound when I'm finished drifting. And because right now this skid sound is going to try to play over the top of itself 60 times a second, I do also need a line to check if not skid sound is playing before I start trying to play it again. Otherwise I'll just be hearing the first 60th or so of the sound before it tries to replay. Like this, it will completely finish playing before it repeats itself. So we should be ready to check all this out now, and we should find that I only draw tyre tracks and play that skid sound if my car detects that it's drifting. That's working pretty nicely. One thing that you might want to fix up is at the moment it's much easier to drift when I'm going backwards, and you might have also noticed there were tiny little dots when I very first started playing. That's because I probably also want to have a sort of minimum speed that I need to be going before I'm drifting. So in my if statement I'm also going to write and speed is greater than, this is kilometers per hour, let's say 10, greater than 10 kilometers per hour before we play that drift speed. Then I won't get those tiny tyre tracks at the start of the game, and I won't be creating drift tracks every time I go backwards either. So we'll play that again. No tyre tracks at the start. Nice tyre tracks when I drift.